Welcome everyone. My name is Miss Laura and I'm so happy that you are here with us this morning for Storytime Online. We are going to be talking all about owls today. Did you know that there are over 200 different kinds of owls in the world? That is a lot of different types of owls. You might have seen an owl outside in a tree, or maybe you've heard one hooting in the distance. The owls that you see around here are probably either barn owls, screech owls, or the great horned owl, which we sometimes call hoot owls. Well, we are going to get to do our best wing flapping and hooting later on this morning, but for now we're going to get ready to read our first book, and we're going to get ready by dancing our fingers. Can you dance your fingers like this? And then follow along with me. Dance your fingers up. Dance your fingers down. Dance your fingers to the side. And dance them all around. Dance them on your shoulders. Dance them on your head. Now dance them in the trees. And put them into bed. Great. Now our hands are all rested, our fingers are quiet, and we're ready to read our first book. The first book that we are going to read is called Little Owl's Night. It was written and illustrated by Divya Srinivasan, and it's published by Penguin Random House. And we're grateful to Penguin Random House for permission to read this story this morning. Let's get started. Little Owl's Night. Little Owl was having a wonderful night. He watched the funny possum family waddle along in a neat row. Hedgehog sniffed around the mushroom patch. Skunk was eating berries because he couldn't find no snails. I wonder if we see any snails in this picture. It looks like they're hiding back there. By the river, beavers gnawed at the trees. Turtle hid in her shell as fireflies danced all around. Little Owl visited his friend the raccoon. As they sat in the clover, fog rolled in and hovered just overhead. Moths fluttered toward the moon. Silver dust fell from their wings. Little Owl wanted to follow, but it was time to head home. On the way, Little Owl flew by Grumbly Cave. Bear was inside, snoring up a storm. "Wake up, Bear! Don't sleep all night," Little Owl sang. "I want to show you the moon." But Bear kept snoring as usual. Little Owl flew home to his tree, gazing at the sky. He wondered if the bear had ever seen stars. Little Owl sat on his branch. How he loved the night forest. Look at that big, bright, beautiful moon. Frog croaked softly. Cricket chirped smartly. Little Owl heard rustling at the foot of his tree. Fox had come to say hello. It was late now. The bats were gliding home. "Mama," Little Owl whispered, "tell me again how night ends." "The moon and stars fade to ghosts," Mama said. "Spider webs turn to silver threads. Dewdrops sparkle on leaves and grass like tiny stars come down." Moonflowers close and morning glories open. The sky brightens from black to blue, blue to red, and red to gold. The rooster crows, the crows caw, and the day begins, said Mama. But little owl did not hear. He was fast asleep. The end. That book had a lot of really great descriptive words like gnawing and talking about the dewdrop sparkle. And when you read books like that with really descriptive words with your kids, it helps them develop their reading skills. The more words they hear, the more words they learn, and the stronger readers they become. Okay, we're going to sing a short song next called If You Want to Be an Owl, and it goes to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. Now, before we start, we need to do a little bit of practicing. We need to practice flapping our wings like this. Very good. And we need to practice saying, hoo, hoo. Can you give your best hoot? Hoo, hoo. Okay, I think we're ready. I think you'll catch on. If you want to be an owl, flap your wings, flap, flap. If you want to be an owl, flap your wings, flap, flap. If you want to be an owl, then your wings will surely show it. If you want to be an owl, flap your wings, flap, flap. If you want to be an owl, say, hoo, hoo. If you want to be an owl, say, hoo, hoo. If you want to be an owl, then your hoo will surely show it. If you want to be an owl, say, hoo, hoo. Very good. I'll give you an extra flap of the wings. I think that was great. It's so much fun to pretend to be an owl, and over here on my flannel, I have 5 hoot owls sitting in a pretend tree. We have a yellow owl, a green owl, a purple owl, a blue owl, and a pink owl. We have 5 hoot owls sitting in a tree, but the yellow one flew away. How many do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hoot owls sitting in a tree, but the green one flew away. How many do you see? 1, 2, 3. 3 hoot owls sitting in a tree, but the purple one flew away. How many do you see? 1, 2. 2 hoot owls sitting in a tree, and the blue one flew away. Now how many do you see? Just 1. 1 pink owl sitting in a tree, but the pink owl flew away. Now how many do you see? No hoot owls left in the tree, nothing left to count but you and me. Very good. All right, we have one more story left to read. This book is called Wow, Said the Owl. It's written by Tim Hopgood and it's published by Macmillan, and we thank Macmillan Publishers for giving us permission to read this story today. Wow, Said the Owl by Tim Hopgood. At night, when we are feeling tired and ready for bed, owls are just waking up. Owls live in a nighttime world. They have eyes that can see in the dark. But this little owl was a curious owl. Instead of staying awake all night, as little owls are supposed to do, she took a long nap and woke up just before dawn. Wow, said the owl. She couldn't believe her eyes. The sky was a warm and wonderful pink. Wow, said the owl, as the yellow sun shone through the morning mist. "Wow," said the owl, as white, fluffy clouds floated across the bright blue sky. "Wow," said the owl, when she saw that the leaves on her trees were green. "Wow," said the owl, as the pretty red butterflies flew by. She watched them land on the bright orange flowers, which opened up in the warm sunshine. Up in the sky, the clouds turned gray and it started to rain, but the sun was still shining. Have you ever seen the sun shining while it's raining? I wonder what's going to happen. "Wow," said the owl, as a rainbow of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet filled the sky. The little owl sat happily in her tree and watched as the sun went down and the moon came up. "The daytime is full of beautiful colors," she thought. "But wow," said the owl, "the nighttime stars are the most beautiful of all." Too excited to sleep, the little owl stayed awake all night long, just like little owls are supposed to do. The end. There were so many great colors in that book. And you know, grown-ups, when you're outside with your kids or taking a walk, talk about the different shapes and colors that you see and the differences between them. The more that you talk about colors and shapes, and the earlier and more often that you talk about them, the stronger your kids will become as readers. Okay, our time together for story time is almost over, but before we go, we are going to pretend to be owls one more time. We're going to do a rhyme called the Wide-Eyed Owl. We'll go through it twice. We'll do the first one for practice. Here we go. There's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, 2 pointed ears, and claws for toes. He lives way up in the tree, and when he looks at you, he flaps his wings and says, "Hoo, hoo." All right, that was a good practice. Let's do it one more time. There's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, 2 pointed ears, and claws for toes. He lives way up in the tree, and when he looks at you, he flaps his wings and says, "Hoo, hoo." Great job. Well, I think that was a hoot. I had a great time pretending to be owls with you today and reading and talking all about owls. I hope you join us next week. Miss Sharon is going to be talking all about the alphabet, so you don't want to miss that. If you would like to pick up an owl craft kit, we will have these available at the drive-up window at the library or in the children's department. I bet you could guess that our craft this week was going to be an owl. So we will have these kits available for you to come and pick up if you'd like to make your very own. Well, again, my name is Miss Laura. I'm so happy that you joined us today. We're going to say goodbye with our rhyme called Tickle the Clouds. I'm going to tickle the clouds, tickle our toes, clap our hands, and tickle our nose. I'm going to reach down low, reach up high, and now story time is over, so we'll wave goodbye. Goodbye.